Good evening, all. I'll now call the Tuesday, October 10th, 2023 regular council meeting to order. First up on the agenda is item 2.1, which is adoption of this evening's agenda. Moved by Councillor Pearson, second by Councillor Mulyk. Are there any additions or deletions? All in favor? It's carried. The 3.1, adoption of the minutes of the September 13th, 2023 regular meeting of council. Moved by Councillor MacLean, second by Councillor Blanchette. Are there any errors or omissions arising? All in favor? It's carried. 5.1, the village entrance sign request for revised proposal. There's a couple recommendations here. I'm keen to see what council would like to look at. Councillor Blanchette.
I would like to throw on the floor number 2, select one of the 2 pylon designs from Image, Sign and Lighting, but I can't open up my picture. Are you able to open up picture?
Sorry, Councillor. One is that council approves staff to enter an agreement with for the construction of a new village sign by selecting one of the 2 pylon signs.
Oh, okay.
Or 2, that we continue to work with Image and Sign Lighting on and pricing on an arched theme.
Okay, sorry, I misread that.
Okay. Would you like to revise?
No.
Okay, so you're looking to continue on the path of pylon design.
Correct.
Okay, is there a seconder?
Okay, now I'm confused.
Yeah. Number 1?
Number
Number 1 or 2?
Number 1.
Number 1 with the pylons.
Yep. Is there a seconder? Seconded by Councillor MacLean. Discussion.
Sorry, I can't open my pictures.
Oh. I didn't think there was any pictures attached to this report.
It's the second, there's
The second attachment?
it's the second piece of it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was just the arch theme in that other one.
Thank you. Maybe I have this.
I'll go over to Councillor Pearson, Councillor Blanchette, and I'll come back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, after our discussion in committee the whole last time, my feelings still lean towards the arch theme. Unfortunately, additional costs and stuff, I mean, just $4,500 to look at a redesign towards the pictures that they supplied is a little frustrating. If we go with the pylon design, I would really like to see some graphics and imagery and what it's going to look like with the enhanced visibility for traffic, with gaps and stuff like that. That would be, if we go that route, I'm willing to compromise and take away our scenic arch that the tourists love, but I just need to see what it's going to look like for traffic flow.
And I think there was in the reports or the response from the proponent that the pylon design could be pushed back a bit and a gap could be introduced within that design. So I think those two important criteria could be met for sure. Going back to Councillor Blanchette.
So if we had the 1 pylon, could we not put it on the other side, on the side of the Petrocan? Because it's a cluster area down there. Less is going to be more. I still, in my little car, have to get out into the whole laneway when I come out of Tim Hortons. So if we take that out of the equation, we're going to have some more safety there. Because right now we don't have safety. If it's on the other side, there's already some stuff there from that gas station, right?
Okay, I haven't been there in a while. So.
I'm just trying to picture across the road.
Take your word for it.
You know, we've got to consider the safety issue, and we're already having nightmares down there.
It will be addressed.
Yeah. But you can't see past the brick. So just making a hole in the wood for those of us who drive cars isn't going to matter because we still have to drive past the brick to see around the corner.
4-foot tall brick.
Yep.
That's on grade. Okay. Councillor Mulyk?
So the one thing, I guess, when we saw the initial pictures, The background was this coppery color background, so I don't know, to me, it made it really difficult to try and envision how it was going to look. Like if they could have come up with what's actually back there, you know, with all the buildings, just to give you a better idea of how it's going to fit in. Because with that, it was this arches with this, like I say, this colored, copper-colored background that really didn't give you any idea of scale or anything else how it was going to fit in there. So if they could do something like that, so we would have a better visual, I think might be useful.
Question to administration. Although the proponents were not prepared to meet with us tonight, would there be a future council meeting for which they could?
Your worship, to the councilor's points and to your question, I believe the answer is yes. Certainly, we can always look to scheduling. It might not be on a regular date, but absolutely staff could inquire as to availability for presentation.
That would be helpful, I think. Councillor Pearson?
And to Councillor Mulyk's point, if they were to take that image, cut and paste that onto an actual photo of the intersection, give us a more realistic, because yeah, that tells us nothing. There's nothing to look at up the street, where if they could cut and paste a graphic of the pylons into an actual photo of the intersection.
Things get photoshopped all the time, I'm sure.
That's what AI is all about.
Can do. So what I'm hearing is that we'd be looking to go with the now a single pylon design with the, pardon me, but we're not entering into agreement right yet until we have a chance to hear from the proponent. Is that?
Correct.
Okay. Councillor Pearson?
And just confirming that, because the motion really doesn't clarify that it's one pylon. The motion, the recommendation is for two pylons.
Yeah, so the motion on the floor is for two. Well, what I reiterated from the discussion, we're looking for one on one side and not entering into any agreement at all. So I would look to have the motion on the floor defeated and a new one put forward.
Okay, I'm trying to picture it with just one side, but safety-wise, I don't disagree.
So, any further discussion on the motion on the floor? All in favor? Opposed? It's defeated. I'd entertain a new motion. Councillor Blanchette.
So I'll make a motion that we work towards one pylon, and we ask Sign and Image to set up a time and a place to meet.
One pylon.
Or Sign and Lighting, sorry.
Presentation from proponent.
Correct.
Okay. Seconder? Councillor Pearson. Discussion on the new motion. Councillor Pearson.
And just specifying that that would be on the southeast corner, south side of Fifth Avenue.
Yes. All in favor? It's carried. Staff has clear enough direction?
Yes, Your Worship.
Okay. Anything from the reading file folks would like to bring forward? Councillor Pearson?
Get this screen to stay where it's supposed to be. Number one, Youth Parliament. I'd like to have discussion and have that forwarded to Valemount Secondary School. See if there's interest. And then if there would be an opportunity for us to support an eligible student.
Like to sponsor the 475, yeah. It has been forwarded.
Okay.
Would you like to get that sponsorship availability out of this meeting?
If we can, because deadlines are pretty tight, so if they know there's some sponsorship.
So Councillor Pearson moves that the village support an eligible student to attend the youth parliament through a $475 grant.
Correct.
Seconded by Councillor Mulyk. Discussion? Anything from administration?
Just an amendment on the amount, your worship. I'm seeing registration at 425, just confirming the
Sorry,
value
pardon me.
for 425.
It's been a while since I've seen that. 425, you're okay with the small adjustment?
Yeah.
Councillor Mulyk, you're okay? Okay, 425. Further discussion?
Yeah, just commenting that once things settle down here, now that we're through UECM week and stuff, that you approach the high school to try and get the youth council group going again for this term.
All in favor on the grant? It's carried. Is there anything further, Councillor?
That was it for me, Elder.
Others? Councillor Blanchette?
The number 2 there, TV letter Centennial Park cleaning. Have we got an answer for them from staff, or can we forward this on to staff to deal with?
Yep.
Perfect.
I believe we can.
Okay.
Leave that for administration for feedback.
Certainly, your worship. We've put out a couple of comments around this, fielding similar issues to the Rocky Mountain Goat as example. In staff's review of the situation, some of the pieces outlined around the lights as example come down perhaps to how a user is engaging with the machine. So we are encouraging folks to read all the signage in and outside of the facility when using it. We are aware that there appears to be a deficiency with the blower system in terms of fully clearing the seed of moisture, and so some parts have arrived in Valemount, and we're working through that piece, as well as winterizing one of the 2 stalls for the winter coming up. Last year it was closed throughout the season. This year we hope to have at least one up and running. Certainly a fulsome response can be sent to Tourism Valemount.
Thank you.
Was there anything further, Councillor? Anyone else on for reading file? Hey, administrative reports. Notice of motion response for freedom of the municipality clarification that the report be received. Moved by Councillor Blanchette, second by Councillor Pearson. Discussion. Is there an appetite to direct staff to look into creating a policy for freedom of the municipality? Councillor Pearson?
Yeah, I would entertain that option to look into it. I don't think it's something that would be frequently used, but to have a policy in place would, so I would make that motion.
So on the, let's receive the report. All in favor of receipt? It's carried. Back to you, Councillor Pearson.
And then I would move that staff look into creating a policy regarding the freedom of the village designation.
Thank you. Seconder? Councillor Mulyk? Clarity needed from administration?
No, your worship, we would work to draft a policy and have that back at some point later in 2023.
Yeah, okay.
I think is a reasonable time frame.
Further discussion? All in favor? It's carried. 8.2, we have the bylaw enforcement officer enforcement report to be received. Moved by Councillor Blanchette, second by Councillor Pearson. Discussion? All in favor? It's carried. Moving on to bylaws and policies, 9.1, Village of Valemount. Officer designation and delegation of authority bylaw number 882, 2023, that it be adopted as presented. Moved by Councillor Blanchette, seconded by Councillor MacLean. Discussion, final adoption. All in favor? It's carried. 9.2, Village of Valemount permissive tax exemption bylaw number 883, 2023, that it be adopted. Councillor MacLean, second by Councillor Mulyk. Discussion on final. It's carried. All in favor? It's carried. 9.3, Village of Valemount Council Remuneration Bylaw number 884, 2023, that it be adopted as presented. Moved by Councillor Blanchette, second by Councillor Mulyk. Discussion. All in favor? It's carried. 9.4, we have Village of Valemount Fees and Charges Amendment Bylaw number 885-223. We do have a rescindment to entertain first, and that is first, second, and third reading of the Village of Valemount Fees and Charges Bylaw number 669-2013, Amendment Bylaw number 885-2023 be rescinded. Moved by Councillor Pearson, second by Councillor Blanchette. Discussion. All in favor? It's carried. And two, that the Village of Valemount Fees and Charges Bylaw number 869-2023, Bylaw number 885-2023 be given first, second, and third. Moved by Councillor Mulyk, seconded by Councillor Blanchette. Discussion on first, second, third. All in favor? It's carried. (9.5) Village of Valemount Traffic Regulation Amendment Bylaw number 886-2023, that it be adopted. Moved by Councillor Blanchette, seconded by Councillor MacLean. Discussion on final. All in favor? It's carried. 9.6, Village of Valemount Temporary Residential Structures Policy 83, update, the report be received. Moved by Councillor Pearson, seconded by Councillor Mulyk. Discussion. All in favor? It's carried. 9.7, Village of Valemount Policy 75, Flexible Work Time Program, with the Employee Flexible Time Work Time Program Policy 75 being updated to include the Municipal Museum as an exempt group. Moved by Councillor Blanchette, second by Councillor Mulyk. Discussion on exempting museum employees from flex time. All in favor? It's carried. There's no new business being introduced. Is anyone having a notice of motion being brought forward? I'll move on to 12.1, council reports. Let's start with Councillor Mulyk.
Well, UBCM was a busy week. Should I outline everything that I've, or?
Only if you wish. I
Okay,
will say for those folks at home, we have Mr. Hall here from the Rocky Mountain Goat. We've had multiple interviews around the happenings of UBCM, so be as detailed or succinct as you want.
Okay, because there's a number of us doing the same thing, I'm going to be as succinct as I possibly can. It was a amazing week for me. It was full on. The amount of advocacy opportunities and learning opportunities were just every day, all day, long days. And you really had to be mindful, I guess, of what your priorities were during that week to make sure that you got the best benefit. You know, and I certainly appreciate council and mayor helping along with that, in that because there were so many things that were really important to this community. One would go to one, you know, we kind of shared the load of what you could go to because you couldn't do it all, you know, and that's, you know, I guess from my perspective, I wish it could have been 2 weeks, but 2 weeks would have been long. You know,
There, come on up.
No, but that's the reality. Is there's so much, and it's that one real opportunity in the year to, you know, like I mentioned, the advocacy and just face-to-face meetings, you know, with the MLAs, with the ministers, with all of our colleagues throughout the province, you know, in large communities and small, and just being able to compare notes and get a few emails and phone numbers, you know, at the same time, people that you can rely on to because I guess the thing that I really noticed with this week was the challenges that we all have are very, very similar. We deal with them differently because sometimes of geographic or, you know, for various reasons, but the challenges are the same. And it's really interesting to be able to talk with your counterparts and see how they're dealing with things, go, oh, okay, you know, that's something we haven't considered, or maybe it's not something that's possible in, you know, with the size of community that we have. You know, so there was, yeah, just so much opportunity that was it was wonderful. I felt really honored to be allowed to be there. So, continuing, September 26th had the Entertainment Society AGM. September 28th, TMX Construction Closeout Workshop, which was very interesting and very informative, and we got to really give our opinions on the high points and the low points of how we saw it from the community level. Also on the 28th, we had the RVCS, the grand opening, the ribbon cutting by Mayor Torgerson. That was really nice because that is a beautiful building. And of course, to top that off, we've got the ongoing participation in the CAO interviews. And that's it for me.
Councillor Blanchette?
I did not join you at UBCM, the first time in 12 years. I haven't gone, but I kept tabs on all of you. Yeah, so I did miss not going, but I wasn't able to. We had the RVCS, same as Councillor Mulyk, and the CAO interviews are continuing.
Councillor MacLean?
I too municipalities and echo a lot of what Councillor Mulyk has already said. The theme of this year's convention was balancing act, and we did have to balance which things we attended because there was so many, but of course we did split up and try to cover off as much as we could. The balancing act referred to equilibrium in all aspects of governance, from inclusivity through resilience through personal health. And included advocacy meetings with provincial ministers, opposition leaders, shadow ministers, study sessions on topics like building economic resilience, building housing, the Small Communities Forum, networking events, addresses by leaders, receptions and tours. I attended the Truck Loggers Association dinner to hear the Honourable Bruce Ralston, Ministry of Forests, Lands, Natural Resource Operations and Rural Development speak. There's more, but I think you will all cover it as well. On September 28th, I too attended the opening of the new Robson Valley Community Services building. Congratulations to the board and staff for making this a reality. A lot of hard work has gone into this, and we are excited to see it open and running. It's definitely an asset to Valemount. And I too have been participating in ongoing interviews for potential candidates for the position of Chief Administrative Officer to take up the reins when Eric leaves. Thank you.
Councillor Pearson?
All right, I'm going to read mine word for word. No. So actually, September 15th, Trans-Canada Yellowhead Highway Association meeting. Then that followed our week of UBCM, and has been mentioned, it is a whirlwind of networking and learning, and just understanding that all our communities are in the same balancing act. Getting through all this. So I'm just going to highlight a couple things. I sat in on the Northern Health Connections Advisory Committee panel meeting, which had representatives of Northern Health, Pacific Western Coach, mayors and councils, and it was a discussion group on the Northern Health Connections program, which was pretty enlightening in seeing all the routes that they cover and just what is provided for a very reasonable cost. So I look forward to continuing on with that. Very good address by the leader of the Green Party, Sonia Furstenau, with a huge shout out to Valemount. That was kind of cool. And then all our minister meetings went really well, but hard for people to understand what it's like to sit in a meeting when you've got a couple things to talk about and you've got 15 minutes, and they want to use 5 of them for introductions. So it was it was quite refreshing to meet with Northern Health Authority and get 30 minutes. So we sat down and gave our pitch, and we still had time. So I threw in a little request of Northern Health that they consider making plans towards building a hospital here in Valemount to support the valley rather than continuing to rebuild an aging infrastructure on the other side of the valley. No offense to McBride. And that would help toward establishing assisted and long-term care in our community. Good discussion on highway safety with Minister of Public Safety and Solicitor General Mike Farnworth. What else? A big thank you to, MLA Shirley Bond, who, with her schedule supporting 3 communities and her own work as opposition, attended just about every one of our meetings, which was impressive. And also Simp Coopy George Lampro supported us on many of our meetings, so it was a good week. September 28th, I also joined in on the TMX closeout discussions. It was interesting. Followed up with the rest of Mayor and Council for the Roots of Life daycare and Ada's Place housing project ribbon cutting. September 29th, COM4 special meeting. And then on September 30th, the Day of Truth and Reconciliation Orange Shirt Walk. That was my little agenda.
Nice. September 14th to 16th, I attended Regional District, Fraser Fort George, and Columbia Basin Trust, their AGM and board meetings. September 18th to 22nd, joined you all, most of you, in Vancouver for the UBCM AGM and convention. As mentioned, busy time. 3 meetings that I was able to attend. I mean, they were all cool, but we met with Minister of Municipal Affairs and Kang, along with the 4 communities within SIP territory, along with Kupi Lampro, to put the province on notice of a potential MOU, and it was received with glee. The other couple of meetings were with the Resort Community Collaborative Mayors and CAOs, so the 14 communities within the Resort Municipalities Initiative, along with the administrators, met on the Monday for about 3 hours to determine what our meeting with the minister on the Friday morning at 7 o'clock in the morning would look like, and some really good strategy discussions moving forward with the MRDT and the RMI. The other meeting that I went to that Valemount or councillors were not privy to were the Southeast BC Regional Connectivity Committee, so led by the Regional District of East Kootenay. Met with the Minister of Citizen Services, Lisa Bear, to discuss the announcement of the Universal Broadband Fund, so I'm able to get connectivity into this meeting. And one thing that did come out was the lack or misinformation that Ottawa has in terms of actual community speeds or speeds in rural communities. As you're aware, Valemount is not eligible for universal broadband funding because it is noted somewhere that we have incredible internet here, and the minister has committed to providing resources. I smell a road trip from somebody in the province to actually go around and look at speeds within some of these ineligible communities. September 28th, lessons learned workshop with Trans Mountain, followed by ribbon cutting at the Roots of Life Daycare and Ada's Place. One opportunity that I had at UBCM was following the federal address from Minister Jonathan Wilkinson. I just happened to be standing in the right place at the right time by the exit. And as him and his staff exited the convention, I managed to have a quick conversation around our geothermal project. And he would like an update presentation from us. So on the 29th, we had a call with Borealis to see what a presentation to the federal minister might look like and discuss funding options. September 30th, I was absolutely proud to attend the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation gathering and following walk at Centennial Park. And October the 3rd, had an interview with the Indigenous Advisory Monitoring Committee on the socio-economic impacts of the Trans Mountain Expansion Project, and hats off to Chief Lampro for making that happen. Otherwise, normally communities don't have that option, so thank you, Cookby. And then October the 4th, I was presented with a high-level results of a targeted traffic enforcement campaign in the Valemount RCMP catchment area. And these don't happen very often. They're not cheap to do. They involve specialists from all over the province to come to the Robson Valley and conduct a targeted traffic enforcement campaign. And they did that in the late summer here with some resounding success, including substantial violations under the Motor Vehicle Act. Numerous impaired drivers were removed from the roads for both alcohol and drug-related incidences, and an abundance of interdictions where items were seized as protests of proceeds of crime. And following our conversation with Minister Farnworth at UBCM and the benefit that this sort of task force has to our area, and as we know, the Highway 5 is a gateway between Vancouver and Northern Alberta for some of this illicit activity, and the really constrained budgets that we are all faced to try to work with. I'm hoping I could look to council for a resolution to send a letter of support to North District Inspector Darren Waroshello, so campaigns like this stay top of mind as the RCMP reviews their budget. Moved by Councillor Pearson, seconded by Councillor Mulyk, that a letter be sent to the inspector so that it can go up the chain during their budget deliberations. All in favor? It's carried. And then I'm just really pleased that on October the 5th we began our initial interviews with CAO candidates. Motion to receive council reports, moved by Councillor Mulyk, seconded by Councillor Pearson. Discussion. Councillor Pearson.
One quick point, I'll just mention more for Councillor Blanchette's benefit that all 205 plus resolutions were gotten to this time. Nothing went back to executive for their decision. So there was some heated debate, but they still got through, and so yeah, we covered off everything. So
Resolutions sessions were well chaired this session.
yeah, and well attended.
Yeah, all the time. Further discussion? All in favor of receipt? It's carried. Under 13.1, we do have time for public comment on items considered by council as part of the approved agenda. Are there any public comments this evening? Then this council would look to give notice to proceed in camera for the consideration of two items. For one item per section 91 of the community charter to discuss matters related to personal information about an identifiable individual who holds or is being considered for a position as an officer, employee, or agent of the municipality, or another position appointed by the municipality, and one item per section 91 of the community charter to discuss matters related to K, negotiations and related discussions respecting the proposed provision of a municipal service that are in their preliminary stages, and that, in the view of the council, could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality if they're held in public. Moved by Councillor Blanchette, second by Councillor MacLean. All in favor? It's carried.